Social media's effect on secondary students. Today, myself and Mai will be discussing the effects of social media on secondary students, more specifically, focusing on the effect it has on the mental health of students and the overall impact it has on their education. We will also delve into how social media was used and benefited from during the COVID-19 lockdowns. What is social media? Social media is any platform with the purpose of sharing and creating ideas in a virtual and online manner. Social media platforms allow people to connect and network with one another at the click of a button. The most well known platforms being YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. Statista surveyed 627 teenagers in Australia in 2020 to determine what social media platforms were most popular within that age demographic. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat were the four most used social media platforms, respectively.
Social media has become increasingly important to secondary students all around the world in the recent years. For teenagers, it has been tough without social interactions and contact with peers, as they have been forced to suffer lockdowns and isolations as a result of COVID-19, which can be harmful to their mental and social well-being. However, students are able to create and maintain social relationships, entertain themselves, and cope with their loneliness during the pandemic by using social media.
Mental health. Secondary school students rely heavily on social media platforms like Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram for communication, and it can become a driving force in creating and maintaining relationships and friendships. This was prevalent prior to, during, and after the COVID-19 lockdowns. A study by Beniam Lake Yamar demonstrated that within his sample pool, male social media users of the secondary school age more so use social media to create new relationships, whereas females tended to use social media to maintain relationships. However, with communication and student activity being more online through social platforms than it ever has been before, the effect it has on the mental health is called into question. The same study found that female social media users showed more signs of self-esteem issues as opposed to males. Social media can make an impressionable teenagers feel not good enough when comparing themselves to people in both physical and social matter within social media platforms. In addition to this, some teenagers place their intrinsic value on extrinsic things, such as the amount of likes on a photo. This is how the online world can reach into the physical and affect the mental health of teenagers.
Education. Although social media can be a threat to one's academic achievements, since excessive usage of social media can cause one to procrastinate on important tasks and become addicted to social apps, it can also be a benefit to their education. Social media has numerous educational benefits and advantages, as it is able to give new techniques and resources for students and instructors to study and participate in education. Students, for example, may be able to seek assistance and obtain important research material by watching educational clips on social media platforms such as YouTube. Since the pandemic, social media has proven to be a vital tool for students and instructors, allowing them to communicate electronically during the crisis. While under quarantine, kids were able to stay on pace with their schoolwork and communicate well with their professors and peers. Apps such as Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and Snapchat allowed for teenagers to engage and communicate in group tasks and request help from one another. As we can clearly see, social media can have both positive and negative effects on secondary students in regards to COVID-19 and relationships, mental health, and education. Thank you for listening to our presentation on social media and secondary students.